they took a background, okay, which is a safety background. It's a safety background, that they put on official documents, okay. And actually, whenever I process checks, for my clients, whenever I go to pay them, well, I use that security background, but mine's blue on my checks, and instead of the green one. And I get those in blank sheets of paper, from the companies I get, to process my checks, for when I go to do my payouts. And what they did was they took a document and layered it on top of the blank screen or on top of the blank page. And what they did was they just basically cut and pasted. They just basically cut and pasted, and then they did it transparent. So what you do is you take you cut and paste the background, shrink it to fit. Take that background and move it over whatever you want it to cover. Then on top of that background, you put a text box. Inside of that text box, you key in you type in what you want to type in, but remember you have to use the proper font. And the font that they used was actually, it's called it's a typeset font. It's a carbon font. That's what it is. It's a carbon type font. Mm-hmm. It's a font that they used. And I had to blow it up to like 600 to 800% in order so that way I could look at the obvious the obvious pixels. When a computer does it, it does it differently than the way a typewriter does. Because you know how when you type with a manual typewriter like they did in the 60s, mm-hmm. You know how sometimes a letter might come up or down, or the spacing might be off, between the letters. The spacing on the letters are identical. Okay, mm-hmm. And you can actually see the 90-degree right angles in the S's and the T's and stuff like that. And then you can also see the pixel marks because you know how you make let's say the letter U or an S. Okay, mm-hmm. You're going to have a 90-degree angle at the corners, for the S's because that makes the end. And so you're going to get a straight line to make the top, and then to make the curves, it uses separate pixels to form the round edges.
What you're saying, Al, is if Obama were simply a regular citizen and he was under investigation for a criminal act, any good criminal investigator, this would be a slam dunk to put this guy in prison.
He couldn't make bail.
He couldn't make bail. Listen, Obama couldn't get a job as a janitor in a federal building or a defense contractor.
No, it would be impossible. Now, as a community organizer, yeah.
Okay.
That's the people I look for.
Who do you think this guy is? Is he just a common street hustler who's jive talked his way into the White House? Is he part of the Chicago mafia? Is he a foreign plant?
No.
Who is he?
I kind of feel sorry for him, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
Look at the way that this man grew up. Okay.
You saying he doesn't know anything else other than lying?
That's about the extent of it. Look at his mother. Okay. She had her own social philosophy on socialism or
yeah, it's called communism.
Right. And his father was the same. I mean, they met in the 60s, and whatever college that they were going to. I'm not even know what college they went to. And so she looked at his father, from the standpoint of, well, he thinks like I do, I'm radical, and let me go and do this, and I'm going to hook up with this guy. I like him. Okay, and obviously, Barack Obama's daddy, he said, "Ooh, she's good looking. I'm gonna hook up with her." That's basically what happened. And then Barack Obama's born. And I've dispelled the rumor that he's not a Cuban or anything like that. He's, he was born by Barack Obama Sr. and his mama. Okay, and but the thing is, though, this is what I think happened. Okay, she went to Africa with him to visit his family. Okay? Old Barack was born over there. They come back here. They go through all the rigmarole and paperwork to, they say that he was born here. Because when she left, remember back in the 60s, whenever you left in the United States for a period of time, when you came back, you started to prove that you're an American.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
You had started to prove that you're an American. So that was the thing that they were having to do, was prove that she was an American and her son was an American. But everybody knows that his father, Barack Obama Sr., was a British national because at the time, Britain, Kenya was actually, what was it, a colony of Great Britain?
That's right. And World Net Daily has brought out through Dr. Jerome Corsi that, back in the 60s, the U.S. State Department Immigration Office had questions about Barack Obama Sr. They said they didn't know how many wives he had. Harvard wanted him booted out of the country because of his polygamy, because of his lack of financial support, because of the questions about Barack Hussein Obama. So you're saying he's the son of a liar.
Yes. And remember though, that's all he knows. So he's growing up without parents, having to rely on his grandparents, God rest their souls. And so who was his mentor in Hawaii?
A communist.
Right.
Marshall Davis. See, I think you're being too nice on the guy. I think the guy's a communist plant. I think he was put here to preside over the destruction of the constitutional republic. This is why the founding fathers wisely said that a president had to be a natural-born citizen, because the founding fathers actually feared that a foreign king would plant a young person in this country for the purpose of taking over the country. That was not a conspiracy theory to the founding fathers. They feared it. And I believe that's exactly what is taking place with Barack Hussein Obama.
I was scared half to death of what I found. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. I was scared.
Oh, this is deep. This is deep. This man did not do this by himself. He didn't come up with all these lies by himself. He was taught. He was taught, but he's still being assisted. This Weinberg, this law firm. Come on, these people are involved in this cover-up. There are a lot of people who ought to go to prison. This is a deep criminal conspiracy that's underway, and it's been underway for many years, to conceal the identity of this man who goes by the name Barack Hussein Obama. He is a criminal. He is a fraud. There's
no doubt about it. He's committed real estate fraud and tax fraud. Not to mention the ethics violations that he's committed by having a contributor as a registered owner, or one that shows, even if they show up as an owner of the property, that is still an impropriety.
Al, I wish I had another half hour to keep this going. I'm out of time.
We've been talking for 30 minutes. Okay.
Well, we have gone. This is incredible information. I would love to have you back. You and I will stay in touch. I am not going to let go of this guy. I'm going to stay on it until the Mac Daddy is in prison. He needs to go.
Do you want me to send you the addresses?
FBI Director James Comey has been fired. FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe has been fired. FBI General Counsel Jim Baker has been demoted, reassigned. FBI Deputy Director of Counterintelligence Peter Strzok has been demoted and reassigned. FBI Counsel Lisa Page demoted and reassigned. What did all these fired, demoted, and reassigned people do while they were in the Obama administration? They're the ones who ran the Clinton investigation, and they're the ones who launched an investigation into President Trump's campaign. And when they launched that investigation, what did they do? They took this dossier, dressed it all up, made it look like it was legitimate intelligence, took it to a secret court to get a secret warrant to spy on a fellow American citizen. And when they went to the court, they didn't tell them important facts, like who paid for the document. Didn't tell them the DNC and the Clinton campaign paid for it. Didn't tell them that the guy who wrote the document had been fired by the FBI. and yet they took it to a secret court to get a warrant to spy on a fellow American citizen loosely associated with the Trump campaign. And now we learn that they possibly paid informants to spy on the Trump campaign. When you and I go to court, we have to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. They didn't do that when they took the dossier to the court, and now we learn that possibly they paid informants to spy on the Trump campaign. And never forget this fact. In all those text messages back and forth between Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, we have that one on September 2nd, 2016, where they say, POTUS, President Obama, POTUS wants to know everything we're doing. And the operative word there is everything. That's a pretty darn big category. And we're supposed to believe the Department of Justice can handle this. That's what they tell us. Don't worry. We can investigate ourselves. We can handle this. Trust us. We'll be just fine. Really? Think about this question. Can Rod Rosenstein oversee an obstruction of justice investigation into the firing of James Comey when he's the guy who wrote the memo recommending the firing of James Comey? So we've been pushing for 10 months for this, and I want to applaud Congressman Zeldin for bringing the resolution to the floor, and Chairman Meadows is exactly right. This should be brought to the floor. We should vote on it, and we should tell the DOJ we are sick and tired of the runaround we've been getting from you guys. It is time to have a special, if this fact pattern doesn't warrant a second special counsel, somebody tell me what does. Somebody tell me what does. So this is exactly what is needed, and I appreciate the gentleman's leadership, and I want this, just like the chairman said, on the floor as quick as it possibly can get, and we can tell the American people we're going to do everything it takes to get answers to the questions that they have.